Hey guys, welcome back. For the last week this morning. To my left, we've got Matt.
Good morning, Dan. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Not too bad. Chin up after Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but it's been one of them ones where you feel a bit good that we can't do for second, but proud of the team that how far they come after the start of the season. I mean, we gave everyone a 20-point start there enough, and to be where we are, it is quite amazing the job we've done.
It's remarkable, and look, they're like the best team in the world all of a sudden, but the glass is thoroughly full, overflowing for the season without any shadow of a doubt. And one kick of the football, it's a shame it was a soft goal, and they another day we'd definitely have drawn, if not won. If we'd put it, with a little bit of help from the referees being able to do their job up to a sort of adequate standard as well, maybe. But it's just frustrating because we were bad and we were still as good as them, sort of thing. So hopefully, they'll learn from it. It won't knock their confidence too much, and they won't want to have that feeling again of sort of coming up short. But it was also, what was it, 4 games in 10 days or something ridiculous. So, it caught up with them, I think. The expectation, the physical tiredness, the lack of options in the end with 2 of our strikers out didn't help. And still, we only lost by 1 goal, and they're like superheroes, and we're like zeros, but we're not at all,
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, to say that we won. I mean, I was looking at stats the other day after the Swansea game. It's the first time we won 7 at home since Billy Davis back in 2010. Obviously, Yates, he said earlier, we won near enough 9 at the 11, or not lost 9 at the 11, we lost 2. And some of the stats that you read, it's like, I'm like, wow, what them stats are unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, football, it happens. There's 2 football teams, and now and again, even if you're the overwhelming best team or whatever, some days you just don't turn up, do you? It just happens. You're going to lose some. It's very unusual to put together the run we've put together. You just know there's a banana skin around the corner, whether it's your making or not. It was a soft goal. It was a really poor second half. It's probably on par with like Cardiff and stuff. But we had things like Cook's dad thrown into the mix. I think possibly there was sort of word of that, which is almost perhaps worse if they half knew what was going on but didn't know the full facts. So, you've got to just take it on the chin, keep it in perspective, and go on to the next game, don't you?
Definitely. I mean, I didn't talk about that with the how would you go about tomorrow's game, because obviously with the next games now, and obviously we're in the playoffs as well. But what would you do tomorrow? Because obviously, would you want to go out to win it right outside of that? But would you want to earn the key players and make sure they're fit for the playoffs, or would you keep it going and keep that sort of momentum going and let the players that play Tuesday put it right, or would you rest them and get them rested and get them firing for the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I'd be inclined to rest them, to be honest. Certainly, like Holback, I'd give him a rest. He doesn't, need the practice sort of thing. He needs the rest more than the practice. So I'd rest him. There's a few others. I don't know whether Yates' shoulder's giving him a bit of jip still. You almost think you could give Brennan a rest, even if you picked him for the first half and then let, maybe brought on possibly Spence. Again, give him a half, and you could put Lavea on for one of those 2. Basically, long and short of it, I'd be inclined to give some of them a rest. Funnily enough, the most sort of risky one is probably the striker, because you do not want Surridge getting an injury or something else. It would change things. So you're not inclined to rest him. He probably will appreciate a game, but again, maybe a half, and give Xande Silva a run out, because it won't do him any harm. What would be nice is if you can pick a semi-strong team, maybe switch a couple of them out from the start. I understand Cook's not playing, so Figs will get another game, which is nice for him, and sort of no bad thing. Start with a half-strong team, get a goal or two, hopefully, and then be able to comfortably take them off and not feel like you're compromising anything, and give some a rest and some a run.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's that sort of perfect opportunity as well. I mean, especially with doing 23's not got a game now. I think it's 23rd or the 15th. Or it's just next couple of weeks.
Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's a
I
little
mean,
while.
I'd sort of said it like earlier. So like, would you put some of them like on the bench or take them up to Hall and probably give the players that who have got knocks, probably that rest and get some of the under lads involved. I mean, the under 18s obviously they got their cup final on Wednesday, but obviously for the under 23 lads, it'd be good for them to get that experience with the first team, and it's not a bad way to do it tomorrow.
Well, yeah, it's probably the last chance realistically, because hopefully you're not going to be calling on them in the playoffs much, apart from sort of sit a little bit close to the side of the pitch perhaps. But yeah, possibly Taylor, Swan, even Larson. You'd certainly, be worth a sort of seat on the bus, buy them a ticket, and let them come and see what it's about, because hopefully next year or two they might be getting, that bit closer on merit. So yeah, and I don't even know whether we got the likes of Fauna back. I suppose we have. I suppose we got Tyrese back from his loan spell. Someone like him would be handy to have, because, if Yates has got his shoulder and Jack's a bit knackered and required at left back, you're a little bit thin on the ground in the midfield. I know you got Cafu, but you might need someone on the bench. And if you've got people like Haya and things like that still, hasn't really been seen on the bench recently. So some of these guys should be perhaps included tomorrow. So I don't know. It's tricky. They'll know a lot better than we do, and hopefully the stories about Keenan aren't quite accurate, and it's a little bit of the old Cooper mind games, and he's raring to go. I got the vibe that he might be playing in the playoffs if we needed to. So let's see. I mean, it would be a risk bringing him back anyway, even if he is fit. He's a great player and all that, but would you bring him back? I don't know. If old Sam scores a goal or two tomorrow,
I remember when Davis did it with McKenna in the first playoffs against Blackpool, and don't get me wrong, it was good to have him back because we needed that experience in that centre midfield. But no disrespect to McKenna, but he weren't match fit, and it's sort of shown more.
It's very hard, like we say with football. You just don't know, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. That's what the manager's paid to do, isn't it? To get a vibe for the players, get the feeling who's going to turn up on the day, and you can get it all right, and it can be the smallest thing that puts them off. I got the feeling this week, the send-off they got, whilst being sort of fantastic, probably hyped it up to another level for them, and then they were down there for the day, and there were fans down there, and the whole anxiety factor built up, and maybe that affected their performance, because it does. It knackers you. It physically knackers you if your brain's, if you're anxious about all this kind of stuff. So, they could have done a Cluffy and sort of, I don't know, gone down the motorway and had a beer halfway down there and turned up half cut, and it probably would have been a better idea. But I don't know whether they do that these days. I don't think that's in the coaching manual. So I don't know. I guess the main thing is to get through this game and come out of it in a better place than we go into it, both partly mentally and partly physically. So, put on a bit of performance. Some of those players that need sort of picking up a bit, maybe they can play a half and know they can kind of go for it, but keep themselves out of trouble. Hopefully we score a goal or two, and hopefully a few other people can get a kick and feel like they've got potential to be involved. People like Myton and Lolly and people like that, who have deserved to play and probably haven't, had bits and pieces and done quite well. They could just as easily come in and have quite a starring role. So, yeah, I'd like to see some of them get their chance.
Yeah, completely agree. It'd be nice. I mean, Hull lost 5-0 last week to Bristol City as well. So where we won 5-1. So
yeah,
I mean, they're gonna be wanting to put things right. But so Forest, I mean, it'd be good. It'd be a good game. It'd be a low key game,
It's,
but it'd be a good game. That
yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
kind of meaningless game in a way
Yeah,
now. I've heard all the stories about all the fans that, I didn't have a ticket. Well, I did in a way, but I kind of didn't have a ticket for the game Monday, and you couldn't get them for love or money. And now the buses are half full and all this kind of stuff, which is a little bit disappointing. It'd be nice if we could get everyone that's still on the bus, they give them 50 loyalty points or something, so they make sure they get all the tickets, whichever league we're in, and all
yeah,
the people that can't be bothered, they can. They could have minus 50, have a derby, have a points deduction or something,
yeah,
because it shouldn't be just about the winning. It's be nice to send the team off in a sort of suitable fashion as far as the standard fixtures go for what they've deserved with what they've done this season, because they've been outstanding. They've topped the stats, and the way they've done it in all the categories, all the late goals, all the everything's been fantastic, and the way they've approached it has been sensational. And we've got to remember that. Like I say, we were our worst, Forest, on Tuesday, and we were only a little bit worse than the supposedly second best team in the league, or on paper, definitely the second best team in the league. It's not a bad place to be, but we just got to show it. As long as we play like we can, there's no doubt we'll get through the playoffs.
nah, definitely. I mean, people get set up. I mean, he's been in the playoffs last couple of seasons, so he knows he has that experience, which I like, and I feel quite more confident than we have been in the playoffs because I mean, you know more than that, like I do as well. Like Sheffield United, Yeovil, Swansea, Blackpool. I mean, yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough, lost Finney, but I feel like with Cooper that we will do a lot more better with it because, especially because we've got the second leg at home, and how well we are doing at home, it will be a lot more better. And I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed about the fans was winning the tickets back. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm very negative on the fan base at the best of times. I'll be honest. I hold my hand up. Like, I've been very
Mm.
critical of our fan base, but I mean, they've been awesome this season,
Yeah.
and it just disappointed me seeing that everyone's selling tickets, and there are fans that want to go, but they can't seem to get tickets now.
Well, there's a hardcore fans. You got to say we got a really good base of fans at Forest, and then there's all the sort of fair weather ones that come out, and all the grands that are fighting there for the tickets and stuff like this when they see it on the evening news and stuff. So, that's fair enough up to a
Yeah,
point, but yeah, I mean, it's even more important as fans to support the team when they need it, not just when they're winning. It's easy to sort of sing along at the end of a game when you just won 5-1 and stuff like that. But at the time they really need you is when they need a goal in the second half and so forth. And the travelling support's brilliant. And the thing with old Coops is a couple of times this season he doesn't like on Tuesday, and I felt also in the Cardiff game and maybe one other. Occasionally, he doesn't seem to. He tends to stick rather than twist with the subs and things. Like this week, I thought he's going to have to do something, and he didn't want to, which is, in a way, it's no bad thing. But you just, he likes the players he likes, and he sticks with them, and he backs them, and that's part of it, I guess. But you felt like on Tuesday he had to play a card, and he kind of didn't until it was too late. And when you can see the goal, it kind of doesn't count. But so that's the only thing that kind of concerns me. If we're in the playoffs and he's put in a similar position, and I don't know. Well, he knows best. Look, he knows best. He gets it right nearly every time, doesn't he? So
I mean, don't get me wrong. Tuesday, as the second half got on, I was a bit worried that we've not made the change to try and change to get that second half performance. I mean, I don't know if people was worried about if we changed something that it might not go the right way. I think that sort of like flipped one by a ding, but then the other way, I'm like, that's not like people not to make a change because it's very proactive with the substitutions this season, and it's not,
yeah.
it's not, it weren't like people. So I sort of, well, I was saying it earlier as well on another video, like people this season, it's you feel really don't see him things, but in another way, like he's sort of not wanting to what they say, but put that.
Well, He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to mess things up when they're not that bad, sort of thing. I mean, the thing
Yeah,
I felt on Tuesday was we were losing the midfield, and if it had been left to me, I think I probably would have. Well, it's a gamble. See, the problem is, I thought half time, okay, they're going to get more anxious if we keep going at them. They're going to sit back and defend, and that didn't really pan out because we kind of conceded all the ground, so they just kept kind of attacking cautiously, if you like, and kind of controlling it, and that was the pattern of the whole half. But I thought if we went for them, then they'd try and hang on and we'd probably dominate the game. But we didn't kind of seem to take the initiative. So that was the thing that confused me a little bit. And I would have been tempted to take Colback, put him in midfield, because I thought we were losing the midfield and he was having a particularly good game and he might have been able to sort of impose himself in there, probably bring on Larea at right back, again, a little bit of a gamble, and put Spence at left back. Something along those lines, and I don't know who I'll be taking off. I suppose someone like Zink or one of the centre halves, possibly Cook, if you felt like you could afford it, and try and take the initiative because we kind of had to. We had to win, didn't we? Really.
I mean, I would think that as well, too. That that sort of game. I mean, I know we said it quite a few times. So that Colback, it is best position in centre midfield. It no shade that, and on Tuesday, and there have been a couple other games as well that we needed Colback in midfield just because of we losing that centre midfield battle. I think it was Fulham.
Yeah.
I think it was Fulham, and I can't remember the other two games top of my head. That we missed the Colback in there.
Yeah, and it's not like the other two played badly. It's just like they're against numbers and things. It's just the sort of circumstances more than their individual performances. So, I would have been tempted to do that. And I think you could have sacrificed one of the three centre halves with Colback in front of them, which you wouldn't normally want to do. So I personally would have tried that. But he didn't, and it is tricky because if you're kind of gone for it and lost it, you say, well, why did he do that? He's thrown it away because now we can't do it. So it was it was brilliant, really. You couldn't make the story up any better. The fact that it was kind of easier for them because they pretty much had to win, didn't they? So it wasn't really. It was it was a conundrum for everyone, really, to be honest. So. God knows. In the end, it played out the worst for us. And I just felt, given the background, the way we go for everything, we could have done it a little bit more. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to get your thoughts on the VAR, to a fair. I mean...
Oh, God, yeah, that. Yeah. Well, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. We should have had it on Tuesday. You can just see the things like Colback's handball and stuff like that, which was so marginal, and then they go against us, and the things which are fairly clear cut. I mean, how you give someone offside when they're not offside, I'm not quite sure, and they weren't really that close to being offside. And I personally thought the referee knew how the game was going to go before he was stepped out on the pitch, and he was giving us no protection down the right. As usual, we get kicked to pieces, and Brennan got nothing, and Spence got not a lot more. And it makes the game incredibly difficult if they're just allowed to climb all over you all the time. And they were, and every time we touched them, had people falling down where they just slipped. The pitch was dodgy, I thought. There's a lot of people slipping over. And he was giving them everything he possibly could and sort of killing the game, which suited them. So it was very disappointing. Like, I'm with Mr. Marinakis on this one. It's a big deal. And if they were good, well, they can't bring it in for a game like that. But they just the officials have got to be better. If idiots sitting on their sofas can do it better with TV coverage than they can do it in real, when they're there and all this stuff, with the replays in the Premier League and whatever. I don't know. It frightens me because I can just see us, being given a soft penalty against us or something stupid like that, or someone getting sent off or something soft as anything. Basically VAR, no thank you. I'd kind of rather not, but in the absence of good referees, maybe it will suit us. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you're on about bringing it into the playoff final, and when I first read it yesterday, I was like, why did you put it into the final and not the semi-finals as well? It's like saying, I don't know, I use this as an example. We might get two really good decisions in thingy that might not be a penalty or offside goal,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then when you get into the final, we might get, I don't know, another three decisions against us, and the other team be like questioning it, if that makes sense.
Well, they're going to have it in the final, aren't they?
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I just, for me, VAR often you just end up making the same bad decisions slowly, and that's all it is. You know, it just slows the game down. And they often don't make any better decisions. I think it would have been pretty hard for them not to give us the penalty, and on Tuesday, it might have changed the game completely. But we haven't got it on Tuesday.
no, no, definitely not. I mean, but hey ho,
And
you
the refs going and telling Cooper about it, you know, just to try and cover their backsides is like frustrating, isn't it? I mean, I'd almost rather they didn't. Just take it, you know, accept that you screwed up and you're rubbish, and try and do better instead of saying, yeah, we're rubbish and we know it, sort of thing.
I think that infuriated got a lot of people. I mean, like, why say it now? Like, I'm all rather you.
Yeah, we know. We
Yeah,
know. Don't you know? You saying it, you're the last person because you didn't know to start with. You know,
yeah,
we knew to start with. So, you know, well done. Maybe you shouldn't be a referee. Maybe we should be.
yeah.
I don't know.
They, they might have to do a friend friend on in that case. If you want
Yeah.
to,
Choice of two, onside or offside. They get that one wrong. Yeah.
yeah, ask a friend.
I just think often they'll give decisions which they have no basis to give. You know, there's nothing there, and they'll give it. That's the most frustrating ones. They should tend towards not giving things unless they're absolutely, you know, sometimes you do see something, you see a foul and you think that wasn't a foul, you didn't touch him, and then you watch it and you see it from a different angle, say, oh yeah, look, he caught him, and that's fair enough. You know, they've seen that and they've given it. But the thing that frustrates you is, like you say, when they say it's offside and it patently isn't, and then you get the most ridiculous offsides on the halfway line when you get someone like Surridge picking up the ball, you know, further back than the centre circle, and they say, oh, he was offside when the ball was kicked from Samba or something ridiculous. And it's like, you know, I bet most of those aren't offside either, but you can never check them because it just seems so ridiculous that it'd be that far back, or you know, when the ball's kicked.
Yeah.
Daft. But anyway, what can you do?
Not a lot. What's your score prediction for the whole game?
I don't know. Let's say 2-0. I think 2-0 is probably a fair thing. I think we'll probably just go through the motions. I'd like to think we'd score a goal or two early and just sort of, you know, put out a semi-competitive team, get through it unscathed, ideally no suspensions, anything like that, and score a couple of goals and secure third place, and then see who we're playing. And it could be, well, it's most likely Luton, isn't it?
At the minute, yeah. I mean, who would you want to play in the playoffs at the teams that we could be playing? Because it's quite wide open, to be fair.
Well, obviously you got the Spence factor with Middlesbrough, so I'd rather avoid that. And I kind of think the likes of Middlesbrough getting into the playoffs will be, you know, they'll be on a high mentally, and you know, against us without Spence or whatever, you know, it's risky. I'd rather avoid Sheffield United as well. I think Luton would be a good bet because I think we owe them, and they're not very good at all. And you know, they've shown that. So I think we can have Luton, and that would probably be the best option. And then see where it takes us. But things could pan out. We end up third, you know, and then fourth rather. And then we get someone different, don't we?
Yeah.
So personally, I'd say avoid Sheffield United, get Luton ideally, and avoid Middlesbrough ideally.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me.
They're quite ugly teams in the playoffs, though, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, it's you know, we're going to have to win it with flair, aren't we? If anything.
Yeah, I was looking at it after the game on Tuesday, and I was looking at, lucky enough, because we're going to be finishing third or fourth, that we got the second leg at home.
Yes.
Which make it a lot more, not easier, because I think, obviously, all the away teams, I always say that they will come here and put 10 men behind the ball. and to not let us play. But then there's that chance that with our fan base and how we do play now, we can just open them up and score goals.
It's definitely an advantage. I mean, you have all the nightmares about when you're winning, and then when they come to your place and they still thump you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, you go to their place, you get a result that's adequate. A draw or maybe a narrow defeat, or ideally a win, and then it should be a shoe-in on the second leg, and you should just see it out. And like you say, with all the support and everything, and knowing what you have to do, and not being so nervous. Hopefully. Having had your first taste of it in the first leg, look, it's all mental, isn't it? It's like taking penalties. So I think, in a way, all this stuff about the third teams never go up, and and all this kind of nonsense, a lot of it's a load of hocus pocus, and really, it's a lottery, it's a little tournament. It's largely about mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And if we get our mentality right, we've definitely got the ability. We just got to play our football, and I think we'll be fine. That's what we've got to do. And the big banana skin is the mentality. And also, we've got a few injury problems and things like that, which aren't going to help. But the main thing is to be positive and be our best selves, and then I think we'll be fine.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more with that statement you said then, Matt.
Well, let's hope it's right. Yeah. But with playoffs, it's the one occasion where everything can look safe. You can't rely on anything, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, people are going to be coming back to this video like that. Matt said, "If you get our mentality, get all over social media."
I don't. Well, yeah. Well, let's hope it's all. They can look back at the ones who are slagging off you at the beginning of the season. They're definitely valid. So yeah, they're the ones. If they'd listened to me then, we wouldn't be in this position. Sure. I just wish it was the old days where third team up automatically. Then we'd be all right, wouldn't we? Didn't have this nonsense of the playoffs. But it's a bit of fun. It's about time we win one. I mean, apart from anything else, that's probably the best thing. Law of averages, we're due to win this one, regardless of how good or bad we are. And the fact we're good, well, it's our turn, please.
Yeah, definitely.
We've bought enough tickets to the lottery, haven't we?
Yeah.
But all those games, you look back at them. I was actually looking back at that Sheffield United one. You say I can remember. I can remember. I've got Shimika's shirt from the game. Yeah, but I can, but not. You erase certain aspects of it, and you know Dawson got sent off. You knew it's all right, kind of all right, and then it went to yeah. So, but yeah, looking at it, it's like, all these games, they're not boring, are they? Something happens. There's going to be some drama. It's not going to be like we win 1-0 away, win 2-0 at home, go through 3-0. I doubt that somehow, however good we are. So, hold on to your seats, basically, I think. Unfortunately, it's going to knock a few years off our lives, all of us.
And I already look young, so it probably make me look younger by the end of the playoffs.
I don't know, yeah. We look like Keith Richards sort of thing. Yeah. Never mind.
I'd like to say thank you for Matt for coming on.
Thanks very much, Dan. Yes, come on, you Reds.
Follow Matt's on Twitter, False Fan Base.
I am, yeah. I'm creeping along with that.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys.